All right, this video is going to be about a concept called completing the square. So not all quadratics can be factored, and we could use Pythagorean, not Pythagorean theorem, excuse me. We could use a quadratic formula to solve them, but there is another method that is known as completing the square. And so how we are going to do that is we want our form to end up looking like x plus or minus something squared equals, and then another number over here. Then we can use the square root property and solve this for x. So let me go through this process and how we are going to do it with our example right here. So the first thing we're going to do is move our 1 actually over to the other side. And then I want to make the left-hand side into a perfect square. You do that by taking your b term, dividing it by 2, and then squaring it. So I'm going to take 4 and divide it by 2 and square. Now in this problem, we're going to end up getting 4 when we do this, because 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 squared is 4. But I want to make sure we understand your b term and then what we're going to be adding in here don't always match up, okay? It's just in this one example, or when your b is 4 that would happen. All right, so I'm going to then add that 4 to both sides of the equation. Whatever I do to one side, I can do to the other. When you find this b over 2 squared piece, what actually goes in this plus or minus is b over 2. So if you notice on this left-hand side, if I were to factor this, two numbers that multiply to 4, but then also add to 4, is x plus 2 times x plus 2. So x plus 2 squared is my term on the left-hand side, and then equals 3 is my term on the right-hand side. I can then take plus or minus the square root of both sides, right? That's what we do with the square root property. And we get that x plus 2 must be equal to plus or minus the square root of 3. Then we would subtract 2 and get x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 3. If you were to do this with the quadratic formula, you would end up getting the exact same answer. This is just another method that you can use to solve a quadratic equation.